I've been playing this game for a while and noticed this game really needs a tutorial while watching my friends play this game for the first time.
Hold right click, do
Left
combo?
click, left click, left click.
Hold left click. You can hold it.
Oh. Okay,
Oh
let's
my god,
try it.
they're on me, guys.
What?
I'm here.
Oh, I got gang.
What's going on?
I'm dead.
Oh my god.
If you have played this game more than 5 minutes, you probably realize that enemies in this game can body you very quickly.
Oh my god, I thought that was my teammate, bro.
So in this video, I will be explaining arguably the most important thing in this game, which is the melee combat, so you can at least, fight back when you need to. To start things off, you need to learn how to do a light attack, which is the left click on your mouse. Now to do multiple lights in a row, you have to hold left click. Keep in mind, if you try to spam left click, you will not do a combo and instead you will do the first light animation. This is important because the third light in the combo will do about 2 times more damage than the first light as seen here. To do a heavy attack, you press right click on your mouse. To shove, you can press Q, which usually stuns enemies for a short period of time. Sometimes it doesn't stun certain enemies when they are performing certain actions, such as when an enemy is deciding to grapple you, indicated with a red eye glow. And finally, you can press R to parry if you have a melee weapon or the honorable trait, which allows you to stun an enemy if you parry an attack at the correct timing. Now you know all the buttons to start understanding the basics of melee. In my opinion, one of the most important things to learn is how to parry. Some scavs have different movesets, but they can be categorized by their quirks and are fundamentally parried in the same way. Let's start with the easiest scav to understand, which is the Ice Axe scav, which is the most basic. Most but not all melee enemies are like the Ice Axe scav, where they have a light and a heavy attack. Light attacks are the most common and come out near instantly the moment you get into a scavenger's attack range. It is kind of hard to explain what that attack range is without experiencing it, but think of it like if you can hit them, they can hit you. So that means right when you think you can hit them and get into melee distance, you should parry. When you do it successfully, you should hear a noise when you have successfully parried. If you have successfully parried, move out of the scavenger's attack range, which is usually done by walking backwards, and get ready to parry again when the scavenger is in the attack range. Now, if you have not heard the parrying sound, you should wait a slight moment, then parry again to parry the heavy attack. Once you are comfortable with parrying light and heavy attacks, you should incorporate a combo after every successful parry. In most cases, you can get 3 lights or a heavy attack after a successful parry. The timing is a little bit strict, so make sure you attack as soon as you hear the parry connect to ensure that you don't get hit by anything after you finish your combo. If you are doing a light attack combo, do 3 lights and wait a slight moment, then parry again. If you do not hear the parry connect, wait a slight moment, and parry again to parry the heavy. The same process repeats, where you parry, then combo. For heavy attacks, it is slightly different. You need to move back out of the scavenger's attack range as soon as you hit them with your heavy attack. Then, you parry as soon as the scav gets into attack range. If that parry connects, do the same process. If you don't hear a parry connect, wait a slight moment and parry again, then proceed to do a heavy attack and move back to repeat the process of parry and then combo. Keep in mind, if you ever happen to mess up a parry, it is not a bad idea to try and shove to get out of melee distance to reset the fight. Now onto the next category of scavs, which are the Grapplers. They are fundamentally the same as the Ice Axe scavs, just that they can out-grapple. Grapples are moves that you can't shove when a scav is performing the action indicated with a red eye glow. Treat these attacks like heavy attacks and parry on heavy timing like you did your Ice Axe scavs. Now onto the scavs that can parry, such as the Cleaver scav and the Baseball Bat scav, which are the most common. They catch most players off guard when learning how to parry. Heck, even more experienced players sometimes get tripped up by these guys. So the main difference between the parrying scavs and the basic ones is that they can parry you out of your attacks if you are not careful. What people get tripped up on is when the scav parries first, which throws off your timing. If you see the scav parry, you parry immediately again, just in case the scav throws out a light attack. If you still don't see or hear a successful parry, wait a slight moment and parry again to catch the heavy attack, otherwise you will get hit if you parry too early. Then, we finally have the ones with very fast stun recovery, known as the original skinners and sledgehammer scavs. Original skinners basically have the same moveset as grapplers, but you stun them for a shorter period of time. For these guys, you can only get in 2 lights safely without risking getting hit by any follow-up attacks, unless you use the traits that speed up your attacks, like violent tendencies. Original skinners are essentially the same as sledgers, but have a faster light attack recovery, and are shove immune. There are also weaker variants of the Skinner, which inherit the properties of the original scav, but do not have a faster recovery time, allowing you to get 3 lights, but are still shove immune. There are more scav types like your speedies, dodgers, and other outliers, but they can be dealt with the same way you would an ice axe scav. Either way, I think it's better for players to experience fighting every scav themselves to have a better understanding and identifying different scavs. So I highly recommend that if you're new, go into your traits, put on honorable, and start fighting every single melee scav that you see, and try to learn what they are. Now for melee gun scavs. It is not the most optimal thing to do, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So the first thing you have to learn is that scavs usually have near perfect accuracy on their first shot. So it is wise to take cover on the first shot, then begin your attack. The most optimal way to deal with most gun scavs is to run around them in a circle and heavy attacking them to lower the risk of getting hit. Keep in mind, this may not work on every gun scav, so choose your fights wisely. Another tip I will give is that sometimes you don't have cover against the gun scav, so it is sometimes not a bad idea to use another melee scav as cover. You may be wondering, what do you do when you see more than one melee scav? In most cases, it's better just to kill them with something else, go somewhere else, or lead them to the safe zone turrets in spawn. Learning how to deal with multiple scavs in melee at once is more advanced, so I won't be covering it here in this video. Although, I will be covering something similar in part 2 of the guide, where I will mostly be covering melee weapon stats, kiting, stamina and damage thresholds, among other things, so I guess stay tuned unless this game decides to make this obsolete.